I think love transcends, language, skin colour and race and everything else, and you don't really have a choice in love when it comes down to it. Meeting Alyssa really kind of solidified that there is something there for me anyway. It made me a firm believer in, I guess, some kind of cosmic magnetism, because if you want something, and you manifest it in your mind and you deserve it, I think it can happen. Jordan's the programmer and keyboardist in our band, and we produce a song together, like the rest of the songs on the album. With this record, we were like, oh, fuck it, we're going to do it. We're going to do it whatever we want to do this time, and we're just going to make a CD that we really want to make. We worked on it about six days a week. Jordan would come up, and yeah, it was intense, but we just kept going until we got something good. I didn't see it coming, but I never really had much faith in the universe's magic until it pulled us to that time and place. It was one of the things where it was all about the time and place. If everything happened like a week differently or whatever, that kind of butterfly effect, I guess. She was modelling in London, and she ended up doing some work for my clothing line. We got talking, and we just started hanging out, and before we knew it, it was just all the time, whenever we could. She didn't speak much English, I didn't speak any Portuguese, but it was just like one of them things where it's like, just go with it, it's happening, and you didn't ask for it, but it's crazy, but this is what's happening, and it feels good, so just go with it. And I'll never forget when the floodgates opened, we cried in the ocean, still has me choking, it's hard to explain. I flew over to Sao Paulo to see her, and I remember she was just moving apartments, so she had nowhere to stay, so we just went and got like a really crap room in some tiny little hotel. As soon as we got into the room, we both laid on the bed, and we just burst out crying, like really weird at the same time, just like deep belly aching crying, and we were just hugging each other, and we must have cried for like an hour for no reason. We never explained why. I'm glad she cried too, because it was just, I don't know why, but it just felt, honestly, it felt like just meeting someone that you knew, and that's how it felt. Yeah, like floodgates opening and just couldn't shut them. Do you know what I mean? Even now, to think of it, it still makes me emotional, because it doesn't really make sense. I know you know me, you don't have to show me. Some of your best friends or people you really love, they'll come around to your house and you won't say a word for them. They might hang out all weekend and you say like 5 words and they go home, but it's the best thing ever. It's like you can phone people that you love and you don't even talk to them, you just have them there on the phone. And for some reason you feel better. That's how it was from the start, do you know what I mean? It should have been awkward, but it never was for a second. And it made me feel like maybe we were never meant to speak. I feel you're lonely. No need to explain. Alyssa was the first person I met who was fine with just being down. Sometimes you just get that feeling, and it comes in waves, and it'll come and it'll go. It is almost like a euphoric experience where your body goes, I need to sort this out. I need to deal with this. I need to process it. I need to take it out of my head and into the world. And it's just so much tinier when you let yourself do that. You know what I mean? Whereas if you just go, no, it's all fine, it just grows and grows. So don't say you love me, falla amo. Just let your heart speak up and I'll know. Falla amo means like I love. Don't say you love me, say it in your language. It's got like almost like a little double meaning of it was the ammunition for the album, and in like European Portuguese it means like master or used to. So it had all these little connotations that I started to like. No amount of words could ever find a way to make sense of this, so I want to hear your mother tongue. I'm trying my best to describe how it feels when you first fall in love, and how mental it is that two people from different sides of the planet can feel so connected, like they knew each other in a past life or something. But at the end of the day, it's just like there's no amount of words that's ever really going to be able to, do it justice. And yeah, I could be punching, but I always tend to fluctuate. Using the phrase punching above my own weight, that's how I felt like when I met Alyssa. I was like, this girl's way too hot. But then at the same time, I guess I always tend to fluctuate as me, like, with my own confidence, you know what I mean? Like, feeling like sometimes I can live up to being the right person, and, can live up to being good enough for someone like that. I feel sick, but I'm buzzing. Oh, love, I'm in trouble. I'm sorry, but you got me gushing all over the place. I'm freaking out, like, why you, like, and sometimes you almost want to pull the plug on it because, like, this is too much. I hardly know you, and I'm already worried about you meeting someone else or losing you. It's just like, do I really want to put myself through this again? Where it's like, when you love something so much, it's just like this equal measure of just like joy and fear. And I don't want to get wet, but I think we're chosen, like our fates were woven. Saying like, being wet, it's like an English term or English slang for like being soppy, which like, being mushy. That's how it felt, That's how it felt. It felt like this was meant to happen. It was like written in the stars that, you know, all these things that have happened to us, both of us, you know, had to happen for us to, you know, be ready for this relationship, because for most of us, we need to learn a lot of lessons about who we are, and all those bad choices were just left turns on the way. They're not really bad in a sense of like being a waste of time. They're just like, when you get out of the other side, you're like, oh my God, that wasn't me. And you just think I should have got out of that way sooner. So I guess that's the bad choice. But at the same time, I think they are left turns. They are just like pit stops along your journey. I think the best way to explain it's like, I don't know, I guess this is where I give up trying to explain and just try and illustrate it in a different way, because there is no words. Yeah, kind of like that, but a little more. I think that's it. It's just a vibe, innit? It's just something you feel within. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, it's like time. It doesn't really exist. It doesn't have to be a person, but I think if you don't have something that you get up and you love every day, then why